Welcome back to another episode of I Wish They Knew, a show where we share big ideas that deserve more attention in about the time it takes to enjoy a cup of coffee. I'm Joe Hirsch. Today's wish comes from Leslie Shreve. Leslie is a workload management and productivity expert and the founder and CEO of Productive Day. She's also the creator of Taskology, the science of getting things done, which is a workload management and productivity system that helps people manage their tasks and time and email and information, and it will change your life. She's also the author of a book, Taskology, same name, same concept, which is also a great book. Just finished it. Leslie's work has appeared in Smart CEO Magazine, Huffington Post, Fast Company, among other outlets, and she's here today to help us work just a little bit smarter. Leslie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be here today.
So what do you wish more people knew?
I wish more people knew how much time and productivity and progress they could regain in their workday just by understanding the three main processes in their workday that are actually stealing their time because they're not streamlined. And those three are task management, email management, and information management, on top of which we could protect more time. And all of that combined will help people, if they're streamlining and using systems and processes, they could get 1 to 2 hours back in their workday every day and spend up to 50% less time in their email inbox, actually plan and prioritize and accomplish tasks faster and easier, and have more personal time at home.
Well, that sounds like a good deal. I'm sold. I'm in. How about you guys out there listening? How would you like 1 to 2 more hours in your day? Tell me about those inhibitors, because I know that for a lot of people, a lack of productivity, it does come down to that loss of time. But sometimes we're the ones who are giving away that time, aren't we?
Maybe not saying no enough or realizing how much time it takes to actually get things done during the day and still have time to process email. So those are the two biggest processes that people are working on, email and tasks. And you have to have time. So if you're booking yourself up with back-to-back meetings, whether someone is stealing your time by putting those calendar invites right into your calendar, or you're saying yes too often, you're going to end up working nights and weekends. And this is what people come to me for. I mean, one of the many things that they come to me for and say, I'm just really tired of working nights and weekends. This is not sustainable. And I'm not achieving my targets, my goals, my dreams.
So let's start with tasks, because it often feels like our tasks are controlling us and not the other way around. Where do I even start if I'm suffering from this time loss?
A lot of people do feel reactive in their workday because things are spinning out of control. So they feel like the loudest, hottest thing is going to just pull them away at every moment. And they always have shifting priorities and feel like they're never really in control. So the way that we start is by centralizing tasks. So when I work with my clients, we're getting them all together in one central digital system. And by that, I don't necessarily mean software. So it doesn't have to be something specific. Taskology is not software. It is a methodology for the technology. So whatever you're using, you're going to want to centralize your tasks in one single task list. Now, we're not turning it into a digital legal pad. It's going to have a structure whereby you're planning action for every task on different days. And before I can hear the audience push back and go, wait, I don't want to assign tasks on that. No, you're not locked in. You have to start somewhere, though, because this is a plan. Your day will always be changing, so your task list will always be changing. But the beauty is that you will not miss, lose, or forget anything, and you're going to be able to pivot and turn on a dime so that you can actually change your plan whenever you need to if something hotter comes in, and you have to say, well, now I'm not able to do this today because I'm aware that there's something else I need to do, so I'm going to move this to a different date. You're not locked in, but you got to start somewhere. So pull your tasks away from their sources.
So help me visualize this a little bit better. Let's say my task is to prepare for this podcast. So how do I start? Like, is my task prepare for podcast?
It can be. Sometimes the tasks that people create are too big, or they're like a project or a multi-step task. What you really want to do is focus on teeny tiny action steps. So either the first action step to get something started or the next action step to keep something moving forward, and think teeny tiny, okay? And this is one of the things that people aren't defining out there. All the other productivity coaches, consultants, gurus, whoever they are, they're not specifically helping people understand what is a task. In our system, it's something that goes from 30 seconds to 30 minutes. So it's something really small. And then everybody says, well, but I need an hour for this or 2 hours. And this is what we handle in the consulting, because I teach people how to understand how to break that down, how to get started, how to continue it, how to finish it, and all that. And then we handle it differently if you really do need 1 hour, 2 hours, for deep thinking or deep work. So we handle both of those. But it takes a conversation to figure out, what are you trying to accomplish? What can you do in the short term? Because what people need are these small action steps to give them that steady forward movement that we're all craving in our workday. You want to go home feeling accomplished, right? So you can't always get a 4-hour chunk of time to do something big. We have to take these smaller steps.
Okay, so shrinking the task to its essential elements and saying, okay, here's what I need to do to start, the very first thing. And then from there, what do I need to do next? How do I continue?
Right.
When am I going to do that? How am I going to do that?
Exactly. Those details really matter, because when people aren't identifying those pieces, it is so easy to kick the can down the road.
Yeah, and you never end up feeling like you finished anything.
Pretty much, yeah. Because it either looks too big, or you don't know how you're going to start. You don't know where to start. You haven't thought through what action you're actually going to take. Haven't thought through what day is best for that. A lot of people think of their to-do list on paper, whether it's a legal pad or something in a planner. They're only thinking, this is today. This is what I'm going to do today. But when we build the task list, it's everything. And my clients have anywhere from 30 to 150 tasks on their task list, but they're not all for today or even this week or this month. They go on for weeks and months, because you want everything centralized so that you have awareness of everything and you could forget about everything else that you're not doing today, but it's still there.
Right. So I would start by sort of identifying a period of time in which I would be available to complete a particular task, and then shrink that task into its essential elements. And then from there, identify what needs to happen next and when that's going to happen.
So let's say you know of a project or a multi-step task that you need to do. If you are aware of 3 things that you need to do to, pursue this, you have to pick one of those steps to start with. The other 2 can go in a notes section of whatever software you're using, so that you're taking step 1 first, and then you know that you could do step 2 and step 3 after that. And the rest you just let unfold. Like, don't try to get out your crystal ball and figure out everything that's part of a project. No, just start with the very first thing you can do and make it really small. And then that's a task. And in the notes section, you could have other things you're aware of.
So this methodology, does it help people decide how to prioritize their tasks? Because sometimes we just go for the thing that's low-hanging fruit, or maybe the thing that seems most urgent or important at the moment. How do I decide what to do, not just when and how to do it?
I love that question, because what you said was exactly what people need. They're going for the low-hanging fruit. What you want is for your task list to be all low-hanging fruit. That's why we design it with a formula that includes the 30-second to 30-minute framework, so that you can actually make everything small and achievable and easy to take that step. That's the thing. And it stops people from kicking the can down the road. And it also does help people prioritize, because now that you've got them all in some uniform formula, in a way that you can understand, I can do all of these things quickly. Now the question is, which one do I do first or second or third? And yes, we do have a way to help people prioritize. What you really want to focus on are those revenue generating tasks, the business builders, the money makers, the money savers. Or if you're in philanthropy, or, you're bringing in money for charities, whatever that is, it's the best use of your time. Those are going to be the tasks that you want to put your attention and time on first. After that, you've got a whole slew of tasks that are just part of the day, part of your job. They're kind of run of the mill. They keep the wheels spinning on the business, but you want to differentiate those from the really, really important business builders. And then category 3 would be it would be nice if I could do this. It'd be nice if I could read that article or watch that video or whatever that, somebody gave me, and I want to take a look at it, whatever. But there's not going to be many of those. Mostly it's going to be those first 2 categories. And you really have to identify not only the meaning of those tasks and what they mean to your day and your results, but now you're going to bump up against the restrictions of time, because you're not going to be able to do this many tasks in a day. You have to go for fewer important tasks. You have to start with a smaller quantity, because if you're trying to do 20 things in a day, even with the formula, it's not going to happen. You have to limit that.
I know managers who have tried time blocking strategies, and they feel a little guilty about that, because either they sense that they're not available to their team and they think that's going to create some friction, or they genuinely don't have that time to block in their minds. How do you recommend people actually go about protecting their time without guilt?
So you mentioned two things here. For the folks who are feeling like they can't protect time, I would ask them to think very carefully and seriously about your health, your stress, your sleep, what you're really doing to counterbalance the fact that your day is totally jammed. And so be very careful about saying what you can't do. Anything is possible. You have to change your mindset a little bit on that and make it a priority, because if you're not reaching your goals, not hitting your targets, something's got to give. And I will promise you that you'll never be able to keep up with tasks. You'll never be able to keep up with email unless you protect more time in your day to do those processes. And you're going to feel more accomplished at the end of the day. And you're also going to have more personal time for yourself to unplug or spend with your family or your friends, or for health and fitness. A lot of people say, thank you for helping me get more sleep. There's lots of benefits to that. So be careful when you say you can't do something. For the people who are saying, well, I feel like, gosh, I can't close my door or take, time during the day to block it because then I won't be available to my team, or I feel guilty. To those people, I say, I'm hereby giving you permission, guilt-free, and here's how you do it. You never want to close your door or disappear from your people, whether it's a boss, a team, or just colleagues and coworkers, without setting expectations. You have to talk with them. That's all that's required. Hey, team, I'm trying a new productivity thing. I need more time to do X, Y, and Z. Here's what you can expect. I'm only going to close my door, once in the morning and once in the afternoon for an hour or maybe an hour and a half. Just know that I'm in the middle of my quiet time or my protected time or whatever, but I will be available for the rest of the day. Or you tell them, listen, if you're talking with one team member more than the others because of all the work you're working on, set up one-to-ones with them, maybe 10 minutes every day, maybe 15 minutes every other day, just to make sure that you are really in communication with that one person that you might be working with a lot. Just closing your door for an hour to an hour and a half in the morning or in the afternoon, don't worry, the place will not fall apart.
So I go ahead and protect my time, but I guess with that, I have to be sure that I don't squander it. And I feel like for a lot of people, we're losing time because our systems just are not shored up. So where do we go with that?
So the most important thing is to centralize those tasks. You've got to pull them away from their sources: email, phone calls, texts, meeting notes, hallway conversations, social media. Get them away from the source. Then you want to pull them off the tools that you might be using. Tools, well, paper, big pad, little pad, spiral pad, notepad, Post-it note, whiteboard, Excel spreadsheet, Word document, planner. We are trying to use a lot of tools, and now there's all the apps out there, right? So everybody is picking something and they're trying to put all their tasks on those tools, but it's not working, because you can have a planner or a legal pad or your favorite app, and you think you've got a lot of stuff on there, but guess what? It is partial. It is not complete. You still have emails sitting in the inbox. You have papers and files on your desk as reminders of things to do. There's a lot of other places. Like, let me at it and I'll have X-ray vision on it and I'll tell you this is not complete. And so that's what's really holding people back, is that they're kind of flying blind and they're not completely aware of everything that they really need to do so that they can make effective decisions and smart decisions about how to spend their time. So other things are hiding. This is the stuff that's going to pop out at you and surprise you at just the wrong moment. And that turns your day into a very reactive kind of day. So get those tasks centralized. And then you also want to pay attention to your information. Are you spending too much time looking for things you have, but just can't find? Is it contact information, papers, files, attachments, emails? Like, are you looking for too long? Because that's time you'll never get back. And that's the second process in your day that you really want to pay attention to, because that's where time and productivity are hiding. Now, the third one is email management. Too many people are flagging emails and trying to come back to those, or they're marking them as unread, stay bold in the inbox, right? Or they print them and put them all over their desk. And the problem with this is that you're losing time, because every time you go back to those flagged emails, you got to sit there and think about it for a minute and go, okay, why did I flag that? Oh, that's right, I need to do this. Yeah, that's too big. I can't do that. Let me go to the next flagged email. So you could have flagged, 5, 10, 20, however many. And what's happening is you're rereading emails you've already seen, but couldn't do anything with. And that is just stealing time from your day. So this is where people are kind of holding themselves back without really understanding it or knowing it. and being aware of it, thinking, well, this is as good as it gets, right? Like everybody's day is like this. Like it can't get any better, can it? But it can. It can. You really want to streamline these processes in your day, get that time back, and then start protecting more time proactively.
What are your thoughts on things that we can do to prevent ourselves from self-sabotaging, all the procrastination, all the distraction? Any tips on how to get ahead of that?
Yeah, it comes back to the same thing. I will keep repeating it because procrastination is one of those things that happens when you're facing tasks that are too big or are actually projects and you haven't really thought them through. It's so easy to turn away from those and think, I don't have time for that, or I don't know how to start, or that's too big, or, and just not really sitting and thinking about how do I really get started on that? Because I can promise you, with all of the work that I've done with my clients over the years, that's one of the biggest things that they say is so helpful is thinking through exactly how they're going to start something. And because that's part of the whole taskology system, they have to do that with everything. And so all of a sudden, there is no more procrastination or kicking the can down the road because everything now is boiled down to that small first or next action step. And it makes it easy. And it just kind of goes away, that whole feeling of, I'm procrastinating. And they feel so much better about themselves, for getting things done.
The book and the system is Taskology, and the Taskmaster is Leslie Shreve.
Thank you, Joe. It's great to be here. I appreciate it.